So most of us at some point of time are trying to just chase money without knowing that what are we, how much we need, and we have very undefined goals. And so I had this questioning which started coming, and then it led to right questioning and very uh, not very conspicuously, but very subtly it was happening. I was trying to figure out. I never realized that this is something spiritual.
Hello, Shiv, and welcome to the show. I'd like to introduce you as Shiv Mathur. You are a meditation teacher, and you are also you're able to achieve a meditative state of mind almost most of the time. And you've also authored 3 books. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And I just like to start with asking you, how is it that you got onto this path in the first place?
It's very difficult to really answer that why did somebody start, but there are always reasons. You can always attribute reasons for whatever is happening in life. And maybe a lot of people say there is something from a past life which was to be continued in this life. I mean, these are all beliefs, but how much it is true, that I really can't really say. Uh, but yeah, there's some questioning which started, some curiosity which just appeared in my life some 12 years back, that what are Vedas and what were those yogis who found all the knowledge. And at the same time, some situations happened in the life which started, which made me question what life is. I came to the same kind of questioning what life is and who belongs to you and what are we chasing and what is the purpose. Because we till then, you are till a point of time you're chasing blindly, and till the time something doesn't occur to teach you that what you're doing, are you doing it right or wrong, and this is the path you're supposed to follow,
Yeah.
and what you're trying to achieve. We are goalless. Most of us are actually goalless. In fact, when I was teaching in Warsaw, I used to ask this question: what is your ambition, to the students, and nobody knew what the ambition was. So most of us at some point of time are trying to just chase money without knowing that what are we, how much we need, and we have very undefined goals. And so I had this questioning which started coming, and then it led to right questioning and very uh, not very conspicuously, but very subtly it was happening. I was trying to figure out. I never realized that this is something spiritual. Till for the next 5 6 years it was just happening, and then it became radically different from what was there for the last 5 years. I had a strong calling to go to the Himalayas, to go to a certain place called Rishikesh, which is called yoga capital of the world. So I had a very strong calling to go there, and then many things happened. So that was the path which happened. But I think there were some situations, and there was some kind of questioning which happened when I was, I think, 2012. I was how many years old? I'm 58. So just 12 years back, around 45, 46, and that kind of thing started happening.
Yeah. Well, you're right about asking the right questions. So, what would be the right questions?
Yeah, that's very important. I think that's what is called self-inquiry, and the whole awakening, all the wisdom which we want has to come through self-inquiry, because otherwise it's all we are trying to follow some narratives, beliefs, and some written books which nobody knows why he has written that. Somebody's knowledge. Like one Swami Yogi is there, Swami Rama, and he said it's very rightly that this is not your own knowledge, this is borrowed knowledge. And you don't know why he wrote that, probably because he found it some way, but you also should find it same way, rather than just blindly following things. So self-inquiry, that's questioning, is very, very important. And if you do it sincerely, if you're really serious about it, if you leave your ego apart, and if you're really sincerely seeking, you will start questioning correctly. And till the time you don't have right questioning, you will not get right answers also, because your ego will prevent you to even to be curious in the right way, in the honest way, rather than not to prove others, just for your own self. So then it is truthfully done. It's done more sincerely. But if you're trying to show it to the world, and if it is not inside, this questioning is with your own self. It's not with somebody else.
Yeah. So you've gone to the Himalayas. Has that changed for you anything in your life? Has it altered the way you think or the way you feel?
Yes, a lot of changes happened there actually, and probably what I was doing before going there, I think there was a kind of a unknown preparation, which gave me a lot of answers. So it kind of evolved me to some extent, so that I was ready to seek and receive what was there. Because a lot of people go, and I feel if you're not prepared and go somewhere, you will not get what you're supposed to receive from there. And so all kind of people go. So I think I was kind of prepared in a way where I was ready to receive that grace and information and to get those experiences. And also, if you are following the process in a right way, unknowingly or unknowingly, I'm not saying that I was doing it right. I mean, I feel I was doing the right thing, and unknowingly, for whatever reason. But that probably helped me to receive, and those changes which happened there were very, very radical, and they're very transformative experiences. And my life has really changed. My way I used to think, the way I used to manage things, and be a perfectionist, and chase something. But maybe that was required at that point of life, and at this point of life, the way you deal with things may be different.
Yeah. So what is it that the Himalayas actually does? Is it just because you're in a more spiritual environment? Is it the higher altitude? Is it clearer air? Just from a purely practical point of view.
Yeah, I think there are many factors to it, because see, what happens is, especially people who are living in a very metropolis, this kind of life, extremely materialistic, very highly developed place, and you are more exposed to this kind of environment. Like living in Mumbai or Delhi is pretty much similar to living in some big metros outside India, and life is even more strenuous in India. So when you're living that kind of corporate jobs, those kind of life, for anyone, not just me, if you go to these places, there's definitely going to make a difference, because this is a whole package. Like, it's got a great air, and it's got some air of mysticism around it. It appears to be mystic, but it's not mystic. But it's a very different setup. It's like a kind of a spiritual laboratory where you have a lot of sages, yogis all over. It's very normal. Like, you don't see a sages or yogi in these big cities, but there you see all this, and everybody who's there is seeking spiritually, or somebody's coming to. People are the whole vibration is very different. It's like a yoga city. That's why it's called yoga capital of the world. And it has got the Himalayas. It's got the holy Ganges. So all that create a very different effect. It's like an effect of the place. And that makes you think very differently. The vibes are very positive, because whoever is going there has left all the crap behind, and they are seeking. They are in a very different state of mind, and they're looking for these kind of discussions. All the discussions are around spirituality, yoga, all that stuff. So the whole environment is very different. So obviously it elevates you and takes you to a different plane. And then things can happen, because your mind is now freed, and is able to assimilate all that and make you think in a very different way. And then it can obviously bring all kind of changes, like whether it's with your mind, it's your body, whether it's what you're eating, or it's all about how you're living, whether it's lifestyle, or whether it is materialism, consumerism, and what exactly is life. It gives a lot of answers.
Yeah. Well, they say you are the sum of the 5 people you are around the most. So if you're going to be around people that are more spiritually inclined, it's going to rub off on you. It's going to change the way you think, the way you act.
Yeah.
So would you say, I mean, obviously you say you've been preparing before you went for mentally before the leap. It's almost like a physical manifestation of the change that happened internally already.
Mhm.
Is it necessary for people to do that? Because from my own experience, I know that being by yourself, or not necessarily in isolation, but having alone time is critical for your development. Because if you're constantly around people all the time, it's just this noise. Is it something that you would say to people, go and do or try at least one time in your life?
I would suggest that whether you go to Himalayas or not everybody can go, but if you can go, but if you're going, it's not that suddenly something happens in your life and you're expecting some kind of magic. I had a calling. I had a calling. I mean, I cannot explain what kind of calling was that. And because a lot of things are not, have no reasons to explain why you have a calling to go to certain place. Why not to the Alps? Why to Himalayas? Why not to some other mountain in India? Why only to the Himalayas? Because Himalayas is probably known because we all know Himalayas known for spiritual pursuits and spiritual excellence, whatever you call it. So I would say that people should be have that awareness that what are they seeking, what are they trying to achieve in life. This is very important, and unfortunately, a lot of us are pushed into this rat race and in the rut in the run of the mill kind of life without even questioning it. We don't use our intellect. We are like pretty dumb, I would say, to a large extent for a long period of time, and we don't question what we are doing. We push ourselves into it. We get disillusioned. We get illusioned by this materialism. We don't use our intellect actually, and if we don't use the intellect, what we are doing, and all those who don't use the intellect will flow with this, and all those are who use the intellect, they will handle it very differently, and they will probably understand what life is. Though I would say people are materialistically successful also, and there are 90% who are not, 10% are successful, but that doesn't mean that they are doing well. They have used the intellect to navigate through the materialistic life, but ultimately in the end they are not internally happy. They have not reached that internal happiness. They have achieved materialistic control and that kind of satisfaction, but that's still not the ultimate, because a lot of people who are rich, they have all kind of issues which I think people who are not rich also have. So to get over that, the life has got much more meaning, and this is what needs to be thought of. And we should look for right company. We should look for these kind of discussions, which is very important, to whom, what kind of people you interact with, what kind of discussions you should have. And you can't force people. If they are all into the materialistic life, they like to go to a pub, and then you can't change them. They are into that.
Well, that would be part of a person's journey in any case. I think a lot of people think, well, if I have money, then I'll be happy. And then they find out, well, that didn't actually make me happy.
Actually,
So
that point of time, they are not even looking for happiness. They only feel this money is the only thing in life. They don't know whether happiness is the thing. They were under the impression that money is going to give happiness. So till the time you don't realize that money is not the one which is going to give happiness, then only you look for happiness.
Yeah.
Because you are under the illusion.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And that's what we're being sold from young. I mean, it's on all the TV commercials. It's, the world of social media at the moment.
Yeah.
So I often wonder, like, how do you teach a person to think? Like, how do you, I understand critical thinking, but it's, to me, like, is it possible? Is it something that you think you can teach somebody, or does it come from inside?
So when these transformations happened, a lot of mental changes happened in myself. And all those changes happened, I could somehow understood how it happened, the whole process around it. And then I realized it is pretty scientific. I mean, there is a process behind it. You do questioning, right? Questioning, get answers. Then you all further, you have some experiences which are also bringing some energy changes in you, and the way you think, way you perceive things, way you process things. So basically, you are going through a reconditioning and a reprogramming, and then you understand the whole science behind the conditioning of humans, or the working of human mind. Because the brain, how the brain works, and how the thoughts are processed, and how the body works. You start getting answers once you are doing right questioning, and once your mind is cleared from the chatter, from all the turbulence, it starts focusing. And meditation is actually focus. So if your mind is focused, it is freed from unnecessary thoughts. You have understood the reality of life, and the mind is available to you, and then it can start giving you answers. You have to just use it. You have to do self-inquiry, which is the next step of meditation. When you focus, meditation is you focus to find some answers. So you are basically constantly contemplating, introspecting about something, and you get answers. Now, how to get into this critical thinking? This is what I used to teach. My idea was in my classes was that I want to trigger the right questioning in you, and the ability to fix the jigsaw puzzle, to connect all the dots, to connect all those pieces and get the right answers. Because to get the answer, it's like a puzzle, because there are like a puzzle has many those small pieces. So you have to get all the pieces together. If you can't get all the pieces together, you feel you got 5 pieces together, it will not give you the right answers. Because to get the answers, you need all the pieces, because they're all connected. So this whole life, if you talk about, if you want to explain destiny, if you don't understand ego, and if you understand ego, if you don't understand greed, if you don't understand selflessness, if you don't understand some other quality, you can't get the answer, because all are linked. When you take any action, if you have any thought, whether the thought and action was right or wrong, to analyze that, you need to understand what all elements of human qualities were there in it. Was there something which was negative? So all positive qualities have to be there. For love to be unconditional, you have to have all positive quality. Otherwise, anything which is conditioned wrongly, so that's conditional love. And love is the essence of life. So this is what is needed. To critical thinking, somebody has to be told how to do that kind of thinking, and then you can, once you roll it, probably that a lot of people get into the right track, and some don't, and some don't want to get into this. Some don't want to get into this.
Yeah. So would you say it's more like distancing yourself emotionally from the problem so that you can see it objectively, and then be able to look at all the factors involved and say, well, is this, whatever this is going on around me, is this going to get me to where I want to be? Or is this going to give me the result that I'm looking for based on the things that I'm doing, or the way that I'm behaving, or the thoughts that I'm having?
Yeah, so there are many angles to it. Like, what exactly you want to do is suppose you have a goal in life, some goal, professional goal, or whatever goal, a personal goal. Is that the right goal? So there's a lot of things to be understood in that, to have the potential to reach that goal. Am I justified in having such goals? Am I justified in having some expectations, or can I achieve that goal? That's the first question. Because you can have any kind of goal. You can whether you are capable, have you developed that potential, have you developed that capability? But everybody wants to live in a nice place, everybody wants to have a nice house, everybody wants to have nice money, but have you really prepared yourself? So is your goal aligned to your preparation? Have you really prepared to achieve that goal? So this is the first thing. And then you can probably get into other aspects. If you are really prepared, then the next thing is like, should I have an expectation to reach that? Or should I be happy with what I reach? Or do I understand what I'm going to get if I'm destined to get? And it will only come when the right time will come. If I'm not destined, I will probably never get that in life. I can dream to become a CEO of a company, but if I'm not destined, I can keep trying, I will never become. And person who never tried will become. So these things happen. So we have to learn to flow. We have to only learn that we should only make an effort with an intent. But if we are trying to chase something and get frustrated and having great expectations, don't accept what happens to us. So acceptance. So these are different. There are some 40-odd qualities which I listed down, and each quality has to be understood, and all are linked up. So this is what I used to teach, that first figure out what are your human qualities. Are you aligned to those qualities? If you're not, if you're selfish, if you're greedy, and if you say I don't have ego, but you have greed, and if you have expectations, or are you having really desires? Should you have desires, or do you understand the difference between needs and desires? Have you done all this kind of? So there's a lot to really think, and it takes a lot of time. and then connect those things together to take decision. Because people, when I was teaching in the few classes, people tried to take decisions, and they said, you told us this, and I did this, but then I said, you didn't take this into account. You forgot this. So you have to get everything together. So it takes time to really assimilate, get the pieces together, and then you can get into the right track. It takes time. These things are not so easy.
Well, would it also not include receptivity towards getting the ideas to come? Because so many people just jump in, want answers now. We're in a culture of immediate gratification. So rather allowing it to come to you rather than looking, just to get something now, that you can set your intention to say, this is the answer I'm looking for. Maybe get signs from the universe, or be open to whatever comes, because we don't always, I think for myself, if I knew what was going to happen tomorrow, then, it would be great, but you don't want to live your life in the future. You want to be able to live now and have the future be something that, unfolds as you go along.
So basically, people have to again question this: should I be looking in the future? Because if you look in the future, you develop expectation. Should you be living in the future or past? Should you be living in the present? So these are the kind of questioning. So when we do these kind of satsang, these kind of discussions, so then people get some idea, and it's like a helping hand to someone to begin with, and then at some point of time they have to get going with their own in the right way, and you can always seek help wherever you feel you're going wrong. You can always seek help, and then you will have to finally learn to navigate it, to really solve this puzzle every time with any question you have, any ideas you have about life, anything which is going wrong, or should I do this, should I not do that. So these things, like when I was teaching in Warsaw or some other countries, when I took my classes, this is what I used to teach them. And that gave, but if they don't practice it, if they don't do this kind of analysis on a regular basis, they will not get there, because these things cannot come overnight. And even if you're receptive, first thing you have to realize, people have to realize, if they really are sincerely seeking, that are they willing to change themselves? Yes. Are they looking for the solutions to the problem externally or internally? Can they change the world, or can they change themselves? So these are the kind of questioning. So my situation is bad, but what can I do? I cannot change the world. What can be changed? I can only change the way I deal with it. So how do I deal with it? Next step. So what is to be dealt? So that's how, that's why I call it philosophy. I used to call it meditation philosophy. I never told them that you close your eyes and sit. So when I took my first class in Warsaw, around 20 people came, and around half of them asked me, "You will not make us meditate?" I said, "I will probably, but till the time your mind is not decluttered, don't declutter it through the philosophy, you will be just fooling yourself." A lot of people are meditating, but they think they are meditating, but they don't know what is meditation, frankly.
That was going to be my next question, because a lot of people, their mind is so busy, they're wondering, on their to-do lists, or what happened yesterday, and they're not actually meditating. They're just sitting there. And I think it's incredibly hard, because they haven't cleared their mind. So what would you suggest to those people? Because is it just like a case of sitting down and doing 5 minutes a day? Or is it clearing that stuff first and then saying, okay, now my mind is getting quieter as a natural consequence?
So the problem is this meditation has been spread like in the world, and I don't know whether I should make this statement or not, but most of the people really don't know what is meditation. They've been made to believe, and everybody is blindly following this rat race, that you sit with your eye closed for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, focus on your breath, do this, do that. But will this declutter your mind? How will it declutter? Why is your mind cluttered? That also you don't know. If you don't know why mind is decluttered, then how can something, like, you have to, I give this example, last few times I've been giving the example that you want to cook a dish, then you got to clean the vessel. Without cleaning, how can you cook? So if you want to use your mind to cook something, you got to clean it. If you use the mind which is dirty, which is cluttered, whatever you cook will not be what you want. So the mind is like that. And so unfortunately, this is the definition of meditation and people practicing and teaching is all a farce, unfortunately, and nobody is able to achieve anything. They don't know what to achieve, and it is sad, I would say. Though I should not make such statements, but then that's why I wrote the book, actually, because I thought the book is going to help, and if people are really serious about it. So it's a seriousness of each individual. Like, you can have problems in life, but are you really giving priority to solve that problem? Are you looking for some magical quick fix solution? Because even people who have problems, they are looking for quick fix magical solutions. They don't want to put an effort. And if you don't want to put an effort, how will you come out of it? So these are some bottlenecks which come in people's life in the way to even get out of it. So people feel there is some quick fix solution where I'll do for 15 minutes and something will happen. They try for a couple of months and they quietly walk out because nothing happens. And then they can't tell that, and some people still want to say, no, this helps. It's clinically proven and all this and that. But frankly, they don't know, have they really achieved anything by doing that? Because I can actually debate it and contest it from anyone who can prove it.
So you say you can achieve states of meditation most of the time, and you're able to have mental clarity. Is that and no worry? Is that as you go about your day-to-day business, like as a normal?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happens is you reach a state of mind where you have a clarity of thoughts and you have a control. You have stopped thoughts. So you reach that state and you can stay in that state. So you can focus on what you're doing. You do sequential processing of the brain. You are not doing parallelly. The brain is blocking till the time you don't process one. It blocks. And how it blocks, that's a whole lot of science. Science means, how do we reprogram the mind? How do we program the mind again to process something and not to process something? So this is all based on the human qualities. If I'm selfish, if I'm jealous, till the time I have this tendency of being jealous, there'll be thoughts coming out of it. So if I start thinking, I've been jealous, why should I be jealous? How is it helping me? How is it affecting me? How is it impacting me? So then I will realize, okay, it's actually bothering me only. By being jealous, it's not impacting anybody else, but it's impacting me. But how many people think like this? They continue to be jealous. And if you block it, you start blocking it, you are giving a feedback to the brain. And the brain is like a machine. It is nothing, something magical. It's just a simple machine like a computer. So when you give the feedback, the brain is allowing you to take a decision whether to be jealous or not next time. Sometimes you will fall and you will get jealous. Again, you'll have that same problem. Again, you will give a feedback. You will probably introspect. If you don't introspect, you will continue that pattern. Now you want to change the pattern, you have to make an attempt. You have to use your willpower. You have to use questioning. And that's where the right questioning comes. Am I even questioning whether I'm jealous? Whether I'm even aware? It's called awareness. I'm even aware that I'm jealous. So are you really seeking? Are you looking into your mirror and seeing your true self? And where are you? What are you doing? Do we look back at what we did, how we did, what we did right or wrong? Who does that? We have a strong ego. We all go flow with the ego that whatever I'm doing is right. Whatever I know is right. So with this kind of, we live in a fool's paradise. We create a fool's paradise and we live in that and we feel, and then when things don't happen, then we blame the others. The next problem is we are blaming the others. So when we are blaming the others, where is the question of questioning, introspecting and looking inside and how will I evolve? So this is very complicated initially for a lot of people. So not everybody is willing to come out of it. Not everybody is intelligent enough to really self-transform. So all those people who stayed in my class, they wanted to self-transform. All those who wanted some magic trick, they left. So this is how it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always so easy to blame the other person and say they must change. They're the ones causing this pain in me. So just as an example, right? So let's say, because I work with people who are in toxic relationships. Let's say they're with somebody and they're saying this person's not treating me well. They're being rude. They're pretending to be nice, but they're not really. they must change. What is it that the person should do for themselves? Should they leave a situation like that? Or is it something in them that's being mirrored about their own toxic traits or something like that? Do you find that it's often their own hidden traits that are being mirrored by somebody on the external that you get an opportunity to look at? Or is it just a matter of saying, I must get out of that person's environment?
Where will you land up? If I skip from that environment, people are still under this illusion they'll find a perfect match. They'll find that person who's perfect without even checking their own perfection. This is the paradox. We live in we create a paradox where we feel the other person is imperfect, I am perfect. And when you have this paradox, then the ego is super high, because when you feel that you are perfect and you are only expecting and you are only judging that person may be imperfect. It's fine. You are also imperfect. So the first thing you have to realize that I am imperfect. So the world is imperfect. I'm assuming, feeling that the world is perfect. If the world is imperfect, then what you can do? You have to learn to deal with it. And how can you deal with it? Rather than running away from it, you'll run away from a boss, you'll run away from a spouse or partner and a boyfriend or a girlfriend and parents or sister or brother or uncle and aunt. You'll keep running whole life. But somewhere you can't run. Somewhere you have to coexist. Somewhere if you run, it will break things. And harmony is missing. So first thing you can do is you can bring changes in yourself. What all was wrong? Like if there is a toxic relationship, it is probably because of both. So what can you do to change that toxicity within you? What is that you're doing toxic? Can you at least change that? Probably you might set an example for the other person, inspire the other person, and ultimately let that person also turn around. Rather than we cannot change ourselves, how can we force change in others? We can do that in school as a teacher. I can do as a boss with my team. I can, for that period, I can change them because I have the authority. But in the house today, where is authority? The kind of social setup we live in, where is authority? Authorities have been broken. Like in India, suppose there's a big family, the eldest man will be the authority. But today it's broken. We have become very, very westernized, very, very individualistic. So when we become individualistic, the central authority at the personal front, this system is broken. The structure is broken, social structure. In fact, my third book is on social issues only. But at the office, you are still bound by rules. On the road, you are bound by law, and in your school, you are bound by. You take it for granted. The teacher is right, but even that is changing today because the teacher cannot be very rude. It cannot be harsh. Has limitations. So we are changing. We are changing not for good. We are changing for actually worse. And with these changing, we are not benefiting. We are not benefiting out of it. And we don't realize how these social changes, we become very individualistic. And everybody is a reference. So we don't have a common reference. We have lots of common reference and we all become our own reference without knowing whether the reference is right or not. Because the common reference has to be there for the humanity. What is it common reference for the humanity? That nobody wants to know. And nobody is still teaching us. Unfortunately, it's not just my fault, but the kind of upbringing I'm having, kind of learnings I'm having, the society is teaching me. Society means whether it's in the school, the teachers, the modern society, the materialistic, the capitalistic society, the consumeristic society, and the consumeristic approach to life, the capitalistic approach to life, the materialistic approach to life, the success, the definition of success defined for life without actually being defined. And these kind of things have influenced the narrative, all the narratives created by capitalistic, socialistic politicians. Everybody, there's a whole lot of people to be blamed. It's not just, and we are the product of that. And so we can't blame yourself. But how to get out of it, that's left to you. And now if you can get out of it, if you are aware, if you wake up someday, then you can get out of it.
Yeah. So you've had some out of time and out of space experiences. What would those have been?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, they appear to be out of time and space because some things which happen very radically, and radically because you don't have any clear answer because you've never seen that kind of thing in your life. So we kind of define them as out of time and space because So I may say it is out of time and space, but it may not be, because probably that's a very radical change which has happened. And those radical change, when they happen, from a kind of a state to, you go to a state of bliss. So like if you come from Netherlands to Rishikesh, you will feel some change. You might feel cultural shock. You might feel a bliss with that vibrations, and you might feel you may not like something, but so those changes will be drastic and will definitely impact your thinking. So I think I was prepared to be elevated to some level of energy, because the mind is the center for all the field which we create for the body. It's all the thoughts and actions which are actually generating all the energy. And the output of the brain is the thoughts. Whatever kind of thoughts you create, it creates that kind of energy, the positive aura or negative aura. So when you are already ready to, you have a certain positive energy aura. When you go to these places to meet some yogi who has some very strong aura, or he even lived there. So I went to this cave in 2015, and I got completely transformed. Like in one shot, I was like clean, and then I was like shocked what happened. So I had a discussion for 4 hours with this yogi who was living, who was a disciple of that yogi who was very divine and very evolved. So after 4 hour of discussion, again I go to the memorial of that yogi who was there, who passed away in 1974, and again same feeling came into my mind, like it was empty. And when that mind was empty, I can't explain you, when from a mind riddled to a mind empty, when you that time when you do the transition, probably that experience is like out of time and space, and you are in a kind of a state of bliss. You are glowing, your face is glowing, and when somebody saw you, said, oh, your face is glowing and you have some aura. So every time I used to come back from Rishikesh after spending 2 weeks, in my office, some people used to tell me, you have there's something around you, there's something around you. Probably they felt something, I don't know what, which I couldn't see. So probably I had some halo or something, God knows. But they always told me like that. And I used to just laugh it off. But then obviously there must be something which they observed. And obviously something happened during my stays there, and especially spending time in that cave. So it actually purified me, and purified my mind, and it's like called purification also, and it kind of emptied my mind. It made my mind focused. It probably changed my entire energy spectrum, the field and the energy level. And so they, when that happens, you feel something which is very, very different from your normal day-to-day life experiences, which cannot be explained. Then I had a couple of more experiences of meeting another yogi in another place, about 2 hours from Rishikesh in the Himalayas, meeting one yogi and having those experience of unconditional love, which cannot be explained, and without even exchanging words. Also had a feeling of weightlessness for an hour. So these kind of things happen. Some more vague, weird experiences, and especially in that place. So in these two places, I had those kind of experiences, and I met this yogi again, and every time I had those experiences with him, but not now. Now they don't happen. They don't happen to that level. So probably because I think your energy level goes up. So it's not that when when two fields are interacting and when your field is already raised, so you will not, the change is not there. Till the time the next change doesn't come, you will now feel. It's not that I go there every time I have that experience, because I have probably been elevated to some level, and next time when I go, I will not feel that, because I have already made some changes in myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very important to go to a place where the energy is high, because you could go by the same token to a place where it's really low, and negative energies can attach to you and cause demise in your life, and you don't even know why.
Yeah, because we don't think like when we are in an office space or we are in a house in toxic environment. So we are continuously interacting, affected by the toxic fields. But when we go to certain place, so that's why we say the company matters a lot. So with what kind of people you,
Yeah.
meet with. So even some people had experiences in my presence also.
Yeah,
I've
I'm
seen
sure.
that also. Yeah. So in those instances, like somewhere it was pretty crazy. I was in Thailand and I met someone, and that person had behaved very weirdly, and I was just watching. So, some people do have, but now not. But yeah, definitely when you meet somebody with a different energy, you will definitely feel it. You can feel those vibes. It's
Yeah.
very normal, I think, to feel a vibe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can just feel it if someone walks in the room that we don't like. Just that
Yeah,
alone. The
yeah,
trick is, I think, not to take that home with you. Leave the negative people at the office. Take the
yeah.
good stuff home with you.
You have to learn to deal with them, like to maintain a distance only wherever there's a essential interaction needed.
Yeah.
Just do that, and because it's a professional interaction, and consider it as a professional interaction. Don't take it personal. Don't
Yeah.
react to their behavior. Just take it as a normal behavior and learn to ignore it. Like the one
Yeah.
of the qualities to not to react, to be neutral, because people are the way they are, and you can't change them. Just be the way you are, and don't try to justify or counter them. Let them be the way they are, and if you can do that, you can be focused on what you're doing in your own self.
Yeah.
So we have to learn, because we can't stop people from coming anywhere. We can't stop ourselves from not going there, because we need to go there.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I often say to my clients, toxic people are like mosquitoes. They'll drink your blood, but you can't kill all the mosquitoes. What you can do is put mosquito repellent on. Just
Yeah, you can create some environment where mosquitoes don't come. And like I
yeah.
was walking in the mountain just 2 weeks back. I was in the Himalayas, and I was gone to meet one yogi who's been living there for last 50 years, 25 years on top of that mountain. And I was walking up, and those what we call leech, I don't know what is the right word. There are those black things which, when you're walking, they
Yeah, the
come on your
leech.
feet. Yeah, leech.
Yeah, wow.
And they come and they suck blood, and then they leave. So I didn't even come to know there were two, three these leeches on my feet. And when I saw there was blood, so this guy was telling me, the local guy, oh, the leech has done the work. It's done now. You can't do anything. So you don't come to know, they come, stick, leech, suck your blood, and you ignore it. It's part of your life. You have to accept it, because when
Yeah.
you're walking in that area, they will come. So you have a reason to go there. You have to accept them. And only you're losing your blood. What happens? This is just a body,
Yeah.
and body is, one should not be attached to the body also. Let it happen,
That's
because
it.
there was a you have you were required to go there. You have to accept those conditions.
Yeah, exactly. So on that note, when you meditate, do you think it's important to focus on the chakras as well, or is that not because we are spiritual beings in a physical body? Or is that more a state of mind and then the chakras will open by themselves?
First thing is, I will like to ask, why do you meditate? What is the reason to meditate? First thing.
For
So if
myself
we,
or for a
yeah, I
person?
mean, yeah, I mean, like, if you're asking me that I meditate I will talk about chakras later. But if I say, I mean, what will be your answer? Why do you meditate?
Well, for myself, it's actually just to let go of things that have attached onto me so that I can clear my mind.
So my point is, if
And
I've already cleared my mind, why should I
yeah,
meditate? First thing is
that's
that,
true.
but I will tell you why I meditate also.
Yeah,
So if
you
I've
can
cleared
tell
my
me.
mind, then why I'm meditating? So that's the next stage of meditation. Once you are able to focus your mind, then you can use your mind to find answers. You and actually, if you talk about meditation, the word is focused attention. And when this pose of meditation which we try to sit is the next step. Once you clean your mind, once you clean the body, In yoga, if you get the asana siddhi, the mastering of the posture, the posture of whichever posture you want to sit and meditate in, and once you are able to master that pose where you can sit for a couple of hours, and you can free your mind for a couple of hours, not get influenced by anything else, then when you do that meditation, that time you're using your mind to find some answers. So you are actually churning the ocean for only one thing, to find something. You're not bothered about the mind bothering you. Now you're able to use your mind to process something for a long period of time till the time you get an answer. And that's called a word called tapasya. Tapasya is something like penance. Penance also means repentance, but penance was actually also used for deep meditations, which these rishis used to do, yogis used to do in the ancient times. That's actually meditation, because once you the preparation time is the preparation process is you clean your mind, you master your pose, control your body, and what you eat. So these are the three inputs to the body: the what you think, what you eat, and the physical aspect, the probably the fitness aspect, flexibility. So if your body is totally purified from all aspects, from all the inputs, then it is ready to sit and be used for the higher purpose. So that higher purpose of finding answer, how the cosmos is running, how the cosmic science of the human body. Now coming to chakra, like chakra. In fact, today again I was commented, and last two podcasts also I discussed about chakras, and I was also trying to figure out if I can get some information about chakras. So chakras is like, who has seen chakras? Is there anybody in this world who has seen chakras?
Well, I have a book from Barbara Brennan who could see the chakras, and
Yeah,
she
book. No, the book.
describes what they look like.
She described. She must have studied somewhere else and described.
She sees them from her own experience because she could always see auras and energy. And
And
yeah, she just refined it to a point where she's able to really see how they're all linked to the different auric layers in the body.
I would love to talk to her, because I have not come across anybody who has seen the chakras. And if somebody says he's seen the chakra, then then explain what exactly is chakra doing. In my understanding, chakra, what I feel through my meditation to find the answer about chakras, or through a scientific thinking, was that is like a machine, and body will have energy center, because to run this body, to process and to run all the systems, you need energy, because when the body is created, the energy is infused, the prana is infused, and when the prana is infused from the cosmic energy is introduced, that is the source of our connection to the divine, to the main source of energy. And this consciousness is all energy, all pervasive energy. So when that is infused in the physical body, that's how the body starts functioning. Now, for the body to function, there has to be a source center of energy, which probably must be what we use the word Kundalini. And from there, the distribution of energy has to happen, because there are different systems. So there will be distribution center. And if you see the analogy, it's same in electrical energy distribution. It's same in wherever the energy is distributed. There is a kind of a protocol. There's kind of a hierarchy, there's a kind of a methodology, and there is a kind of a logic, scientific logic, how the energy is generated and then sent to the end user, and there are distribution points. So because it cannot be randomly sent, there has to be based on the requirement, the distribution happens, so gradual breakdown happens. So similarly in the body also, they must have made distribution center, which we call it chakra. So they are basically simply distribution centers. Now people say awaken the chakra. What do you mean by awaken? It's just a machine which is distributing the energy. Maybe there can be some kind of flaw, but how do you clean it? Can you really clean the chakra which is not even visible with a microscope? People have cut it open, they couldn't find any chakra, but then it is in a subtle form which is not visible. So if somebody says I've visualized them, so visualizing is not really seeing, because people do talk about near-death experiences, people talk about out-of-body experiences, but they can be visualization of what we see in the books. Because anybody, if you really find about chakra, there's none of the scriptures in India, and they talk about how the chakra, they have mentioned chakra, but they have not told in detail about chakra. I have done some research on this and I couldn't find any information on chakra which can subjectively or really rationally define. But if you can logically feel, this must be the thing. There are hundreds of books on chakras, and I will tell
Yeah.
you, in Rishikesh, my books are in few shops, and those bookshop owners, I know them. The most popular book is on Kundalini and chakra, but
Interesting, hey?
but none of the books are actually telling. If I say I have written something on chakra, will you really
Well, is it
believe it? So
useful?
now, is it a belief? No. See, first of all, what is the purpose of life? See, we can always get diverted to many things in life.
Yeah.
What is my purpose of life? First of all, is should I bother about my mind or should I bother about the chakra? First thing.
True.
So that's why I'm saying, because we have many things created out of this yoga. Many things have been created where I would believe in chakra if I see it. But my belief is based on my analysis that this is a simple distribution center. So to
Yeah.
look after the body, only thing I can do is purify my mind, eat good, have a good lifestyle, which is I'm supposed to live, and do what is to be done physically for my body. These three things. And fourth thing, where do I live? Should I live in a city or should I live in a forest? So, do I know what my body needs? If my body is given what it needs, everything will get sorted out. Whether it is something which we can't see in the body, whether we can see. If you look at yogis, or even in the villages, people don't go to hospitals. They don't fall sick. They are not worried about chakra. It's only the
Yeah.
people in the cities who are talking about chakras and this and that. They go to the hospitals. They have all the mental issues. They have all physical issues. But people in the villages, they have nothing. They are living pretty happily. They still have bonhomie. They have warmth. They have
Yeah.
harmony. And if you look at yogi, if a yogi in the mountain, he's the most happy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but he doesn't talk about chakra. I've spoken to many yogis, and they don't care about chakras. But
Interesting.
this chakra has become very
Yeah.
popular in the West.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Okay. So, what would you say to somebody? Let's say they feel drawn to go to the Himalayas or somewhere spiritual, but there's the thing of I can't afford it. Is it that the universe will provide and that they should just follow that or make a plan to do it? Or because so many people, in the way I see it, they get stuck. And then it becomes a case of putting their dreams on hold for years or maybe never even doing it.
So again, coming back to the same thing, like somebody asked me this question that I've heard that if you meditate, you can manifest. I said, no, the law of nature, the law of universe doesn't tell that you can get what you want, because your want may not be like, as I mentioned, we have to understand what is my need and what are my desires. If I have reached a situation because I am responsible, suppose, for it, and I feel I go to Himalayas, I'll sort it out. So maybe you are on the wrong path, because
Yeah.
you need to probably do some analysis about your own doings rather than thinking that if I do something in chakra, but I continue doing, not changing that, but I'm trying to do something and thinking that will solve it. So that's where the paradox is. So the problem is that a lot of people think that if I go to Himalayas now, if I have a right intention, if I have a right need for the body, right desire, and it is innocent desire, it is not a selfish desire. If it's a correct desire, it's a true desire, true need, that will manifest sometime.
Yeah.
But then I have to really be sure that whether this is really what I am desiring is really right. Because even today, I also feel that certain things, we always have some expectations in life, thinking that this is right. But the universe knows that what you are expecting out of 10, 5 are not probably right for you. And we don't know that. And
Yeah.
things, that's why they don't happen and we feel sad about it. We don't accept that that's not happened. And life is full of surprises. I think 99% is all surprise in life. We plan so many things, but they don't happen. We want so many things, and we actually, if you really see, no one is sure what they want is right or not. Also,
Yeah,
Who
you're spot
knows?
on there.
And
I
what
don't
you
know.
become when you become so many things in life, so many things happen in your life. Who knew? I never knew I'll be joining the Navy, and after I joined the Navy, I didn't know I will leave the Navy without taking pension. And then after leaving Navy, I had no idea I will work in these IT telecom companies. And after that, I didn't know I will get into meditation. I never used to visit a temple, and now I'm roaming around in the Himalayas. So, and I don't know how my life will unfold. So now I don't even bother. I just enjoy the moment. After so
Yeah,
much of learning, if you don't learn, because life
yeah,
teaches, life is a book. I can say 30-year-old, 25-year-old doesn't want to learn, or 35, but once we cross certain age, if we are intelligent enough, we will understand where we are going. And
yeah,
till the time things are happening, maybe from 35 to 40, things are happening, or still looking like to happen. So you are still chasing that, but the day it stops, somewhere it will stop. Somewhere life will say, no, this is not what you're supposed to get. So then when it doesn't happen, something radically, then you start thinking.
yeah, absolutely. So, would you say that places like Machu Picchu would be have the same kind of energy, or is that a different kind of energy?
See, I'm sure there are many places in the world who will have different kind of energies, and uh, I have traveled a lot actually, Himalayas, Europe. Yeah. Uh, but actually, we have this kind of notion that these are the places which have some great energy. So when we think like that, we are more receptive in these places rather than some place within near us, which will have probably great energy. Because the
Yeah,
whole hype is about, like the whole hype is Switzerland is the most beautiful place. But when I lived in Poland, I found that was equally beautiful. The countryside was equally amazing, and yeah, Switzerland looks picture perfect, but it has its own different challenges. The vibrations are very different. It looks. I didn't feel very positive in Switzerland, and the way I felt more in Poland actually, or even Budapest, and places which are not so popular, but the places which
mm,
are popular. So these are all myths. There are a lot of myths in life. I feel it can be correct that these places have different energy, because I think the whole ecosystem. It's not. There must be many factors to it when you go. Like Himalayas has got a lot of pure air. So
yeah,
the purity of air, the water, the source of water also makes a lot of difference, because I think these mountains came from the seabed, and they came with a lot of minerals. So probably the kind of composition the air and water has, and the kind of the fauna and the flora which is there, the flora all together creates an environment which must be very healthy for the body.
yeah,
And we all look for some mysticism around these things without knowing it. But if we don't look at scientifically, actually, I'm trying to be a devil's advocate. I'm not trying to give straight away say no. It's very Machu Picchu or Himalayas are great spiritual places. But yeah, people went there because of many reasons. It gives solitude. It gives extreme solitude because they are not accessible. So when you want to be in a solitude, you want that divine silence. And
yeah,
if you go to these places, you'll have that divine silence, because the more disconnect you have from the people, from
yeah,
the world, the more the silence becomes absolute. It's a very absolute silence, and you can feel it. In Himalayas, I used to go to a walk. Last year I was living in a forest for 3 months, and in the Himalayas, and like a yogi, and I used to go for a walk almost 1,000 meters every second day. I used to go up, and as I went up and up, the silence, I could feel the change in the silence. Very, very divine. The fauna, everything was amazing. Like, and for us, it's a radical change living in cities. When we go, it's a radical change. But people who are living there already living very normal for them.
yeah, yeah. So, what would you say is your most important value at the moment since you've gone on to this journey?
Most important value is that one should learn to be detached. there's a word called Vairagya. I don't know if you heard that word, Vairagya. Vairagya is a word called detachment. If we can be fully detached, but now the detached cannot be explained. Along with detachment, you have to understand destiny. You have to understand not to be having expectation, not to have ego, because all are connected. But I can use this word as the prime word, or if even if you say if you don't have ego, so your ego will dissolve only when you're detached. Till the time you're attached, your ego will be there. So they're all interconnected. So I can use any
Yeah.
word to say the value is the goal should be to live in the presence. So
Yeah.
that's another way of putting it. The value is to live in the present moment. And you can live only in the present moment when you don't have an ego or when you have detached.
Yeah.
So again, they are interconnected. But how somebody can understand and relate to more depends how differently you explain someone.
Yeah.
So, like I've given 20 definition of meditation in my book.
So
Because
tell me about your 3 books.
one is on meditation. It's called Meditation and Spirituality, a
Mm-hmm.
philosophy. And the subtitle is A Path to Attain a Steady State of Mind. And my second book is on spiritual encounters, meeting the Himalayan yogis, and also about life in ashrams in Rishikesh. What exactly is an ashram, and how can you choose an ashram? In fact, I made a video. Somebody was asking me from Spain which ashram to choose. I said, wait, hold on, I'll make a video. It'll help you more rather than I can't type so much. So I made a video how to choose an ashram. So in my second book, I have also mentioned about ashrams and specifically about meeting those yogis and my different experiences, including out of time and space. And my third book, I thought, which I had not planned to write, but I thought it's also important because when we are having mental issues like we all are having, I mean, the mental modifications. So that also impacts the society because ultimately because we are all social animals. And if we have issues with the mind, obviously it will have repercussions on the social setup. And today that's where we are. So my third book, I thought I will give this angle to the society for the social issues. So I call it social pandemic. Why I called it pandemic 2 years back, and the subtitle was A Terminally Ill Modern Society.
Okay.
And
And where
actually,
can people
if you look
get hold
around,
of it?
it's available on Amazon,
Okay.
Amazon worldwide. It's available on, I think it's available every country in their different stores. So in even Netherlands, I don't remember the names. I can't pronounce those names. In Netherlands, also a couple of stores it's
Okay.
available, and in Barnes and Nobles, I remember some of the famous stores in US, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, and New York Strand Bookstore.
Yeah, great. I'll
Yeah,
post the links in the description and I'll put it on the website as well.
yeah, I've listed
Yeah.
some 100 stores in my YouTube channel community section where it's
Wow.
available because you can pick up from
Lovely.
Amazon also. You can pick up from these stores. Like in
Yeah,
Australia,
awesome.
Australia, it is available in Bookotopia and Monkey Ape or something like different
Lovely.
stores. I really don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. And where can people get hold of you if they want to connect?
They can send me an email, and it's better to send an email because if I they can connect me on WhatsApp also. I'm open to connections. That's not an issue. But sometimes people don't introduce themselves properly, and they just
Yes.
want to talk to me. And you need to know a person whom you're talking to, from what background he's coming, because
Yeah,
without knowing the background of the person, you can't judge a person how to deal with him and how to deal with him or her, and get into a kind of a discussion, really understanding the level of that person. So I always,
absolutely.
people don't do that. Many people don't do that, and I think that's very important. When you reach out to somebody, don't give a proper introduction because you're seeking something. So you're most
Yeah,
welcome. You are most welcome, and I mean, I can even invite people to my house uh, because my aim was to have a kind of a spiritual center where people can come and learn something and go back. That was my kind of a mission. That's why I'm running this channel and have these books.
yeah, that sounds amazing. That would be great. And do you have a last message for people before we close?
I would, my only message is, I think it's difficult to figure out what should be the more appropriate message, but I would say start doing right questioning and do this self-inquiry on a regular basis and try to find people with whom you can have a discussion about life rather than frivolous kind of discussions and chasing these materialistic things in life. Give some time to that. In fact, there's a very young girl from Amsterdam only. She started the channel and she's doing a great job. Very interesting content she's creating. She's just created 7, 8 my best self podcast, something like that. I don't remember. And so there are people who are having a lot of wisdom. Everywhere you'll find people who are evolving, who are questioning, who are becoming aware. Meet people and make that as a priority, not as a sidekick, or don't look for quick fix solutions. Nothing comes without effort. So if you want, put in an effort, be sincere about it. Don't look for shortcuts in life. Do self-inquiry. It's a long drawn process to evolve and make your life livable in this crazy world. It's a toxic world, no doubt.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you. That was, and it's important because people are thinking that they don't have to put in the work, but what you put in is what you'll get out.
And I have taken some retreats. Sorry, yes, sir. Yeah.
Sorry, continue. Yeah.
No, I have taken some retreats also in Europe. I taught in Brussels. I taught in Spain for a month for a yoga teacher training. I was teaching meditation philosophy there. I've taught in Geneva. I've taught in Budapest. I've taken some of these workshops and retreats. So I would actually love to do that also, but I do look forward to do that. And but again, thing is, I can't organize. It's difficult for me. But somebody wants to reach out to me to conduct those kind of things. I'm even open to that because I can reach out. My whole idea was I used to see a lot of Europeans coming to Rishikesh in the ashram, and I realized they were not getting what they want. And I thought if I can take it to the door, and just Luxor, I was fortunate enough to be in Warsaw for 2 years, and I've been traveling to Europe for the last 12 years because my daughter is in Paris. She's become a French citizen. She's settled there. She's married. And, I mean, she's there for the last 12 years. So I've been traveling to Europe, and that's how I started teaching there. And then suddenly I happened to be in Poland for 2 years, and then I had to come back. Though I didn't want to come back, but I had to come back. So these are wishes don't happen, and I still wish I can go back and teach because I did find the audience very receptive there. I don't teach in India. They connect very well. They understand this. They're really sincere about it. So that it makes much more fun to have that kind of interaction. So I would still love to go back and teach. In fact, I'm talking to somebody in Brussels again, where I taught. Because the audience was really one of the best audience I saw in Brussels, and I was very keen to conduct. COVID and all happened, and it all stopped, and I came back.
Yeah, that would be amazing, and I think the world is ready for it. More than ever, people are realizing that there's more to life, and they're questioning everything, not just their life.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Well, Shiv, thank you. It was lovely getting to know you a little bit more about your story, and I'll connect with you soon.
Definitely, anytime. It'll be a pleasure, and thanks a lot for inviting me, and look forward to probably more interactions with you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.